Hello, Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, hello, Berta, Ray Williams, Khalid Harleen. All right, G from the land, Indigo, that crazy beach Aries, the conscious room, Just Biz. Howard is in the house. Tracy, I see you, beloved. All right, Silent D, Janice, I am Bass, Mr. Mercedes, King Alexander, Piggy's Picks. Okay, let's get ready to get black into it. Pharaoh X, Dora is in the house, Angelina. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat. RG Titan, Charlotte, Samantha, Queenie Moni. Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned in to the Queen. I see you, Melanated God King, Raya. Okay, so with that all being said, shout out to all of you. Thank you for tuning black in once again. Let's get ready to get black into it. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Seems to me there was a whole lot of nefariousness going on. So let's go ahead and talk about it, Decatur Raider. Coco, I see you. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about how the school is banning. I already know y'all waiting to hear about Pastor Whitehead. We'll get to him momentarily. Okay, but let's talk about first about these school books that have been banned 2,532 times since 2021. It's all part of a full-fledged movement, they say. So let's get into it. So over the last year or so, books were banned at least 2,500 times or more by 130 school districts across 30 plus states. And this is according to an analysis that was published by PEN America, according to Free Speech and Literary Organization. Okay, that's what they're all about. Free Speech and Literary Organization. Now they say the unprecedented trend escalated throughout the spring and then into the summer. So they say there's a preliminary report that documents 1,586 book bans over the 9 months starting in July of 2021. More is the operative word for the report, Penn says, comparing the latest analysis to the preliminary one. They say more books banned, more districts, more states, more students losing access to literature. They're trying to hide history and rewrite it. This is what it's all about. They don't want you talking about Frederick Douglass, not even Dr. King. Now, the trend's proponents have also gotten more savvy and more creative in their book challenging strategies. So over the 2021 to 22 school year, what started as modest school level activity to challenge and remove books in school has grown into a full-fledged social as well as political movement. Now, that movement, according to Penn, has been powered by at least 50 activist groups, as well as politicians who've pressured or chilled schools into restricting children's access to certain books. They say large minorities of Americans oppose book bans. At least 70% of both Democrats and Republicans, according to one poll. Now, so why have so many books been removed from schools and libraries? Well, Penn attributes the movement largely to the dozens of groups, many self-described as parents' rights organizations. These would be Karens and Kens who don't want their children to know the truth of their own nefarious history that their ancestors indulged in, and that many of them continue to indulge in to this day. That's what it's all about. Pay attention. Now, they say they have often disseminated lists of books that they argue aren't appropriate for school children and mobilized members to testify to this at school board meetings. Now, at the forefront of these efforts, of course, are 8 organizations that altogether comprise 300 or more local or regional chapters. Now, these national groups include Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty, we already know that they're racist. Pay attention, I'm so sure. Okay, that's just my assessment and my opinion. Anytime you hear the words Confederate, Liberty, Patriot in an organization, you already know where that's going 9 times out of 10. Now, that's my assumption. Can't clarify that, but that's what I believe. Now, U.S. parents involved in education, No Left Turn in Education, and Parents' Rights in Education. These are all other groups. U.S. parents involved in education. That's one of them. Anyway, all in all, they say the parents' rights groups, most of which have formed since 2021, played a role in at least half of those book bans from last year. Now, Penn defines a book ban as any action against a book that results from community request, administrative decisions, or legislation targeting its content, and it leads to it being removed, otherwise restricted. And so Penn also says they've developed new tactics for restricting book access. For example, some have taken to scrutinizing and even interfering in district book purchases or digital library apps. Lawmakers and other politicians are also helping to drive the challenges through legislation or policy changes that somehow implicate books. Now, according to Penn, roughly 40% of the bans documented during 21-22 school year are connected to political pressure exerted by state officials or elected lawmakers. Perhaps the most prominent example was Texas State Representative Matt Krause, a Republican who last fall distributed a list of roughly 850 books that he wanted schools to review for potential removal from shelves. They said the unprecedented number of challenges we're seeing today already this year reflects coordinated national efforts to silence marginalized or historically underrepresented voices and to deprive all of us, young people in particular, of the chance to explore a world beyond the confines of personal experience. And this is what Lesakani Yapu Palea Lazada, president of the American Library Association, said. And so, honey, this is also nefarious. I'm not even going to read all of this because it's a lot. But I tell you what, this just goes to show how the devils don't want the truth out there, and they'll do anything and everything to stop it. This is what they do. So if you're not actively teaching your children the truth of their own history and the truth of the other's history as well, then they'll just be brainwashed and the history will be whitewashed, and they'll just be forced to, retain whatever lies and disinformation that they're giving in school. Now, I find it also interesting that the internet, social media, such as YouTube, such as Instagram and Facebook specifically, they want to censor people and they want to label things as disinformation, misinformation, but they don't have a problem. None of these school leaders, none of these politicians, many of them don't have problems with these things being done in school. They're teaching false information and giving you disinformation. That's what they're giving to your children, okay? So it's just also nefarious. But at the end of the day, this just goes to show the links that they'll go to hide their own truth, the things that they've actually done, whilst they'll, in the meantime, lie on us and use words like black on black crime to spew propaganda as if we're clearly nefarious. And also, speaking of that, I want y'all to see something because this really ticked me off this weekend when I saw this. Hold on, let me pull this up. Because it just further goes to show how some people don't want to talk about their truth, and then they get mad when one of us speaks on it. They want everybody to feel sympathy and empathy for their situations when they suffer losses of lives, things that they deem as inhumane, but they don't want anybody else, mainly us, complain about the things they've done that are just the same, if not worse. Let me go to this video. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you in advance. Hold on, beloveds. Now, I know I shared this somewhere. Hold on. Let me scroll slowly through here so I don't miss it. In the meantime, like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Here it is. Now check this out.
Diligently to make sure that never happens again, but no government can keep its population totally 100% safe. So we must do our due diligence to send a message to those terrorists that if you're successful in striking America, we will hunt you down like the criminals you are, and you will pay the consequences. But also, I think that we should do a better job in this country of educating the American public. The first time that airplanes were used to kill hundreds and potentially thousands of people in this country was not September the 11th. It was in the 1930s in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when on a Sunday afternoon, white people who were jealous of the prosperity of an entire black community as well got in airplanes and
less than a minute
and killed hundreds, and some studies say up to 4,000 African Americans were murdered in Tulsa, Oklahoma using airplanes.
What has that got to do with 9/11? What has that got to do with what the hell we're talking about?
Because you said, how do we remember? And what I want you to understand is we should remember 9/11 the same way we remember Tulsa, Oklahoma, and what happened with that terrorist act against black people.
Let me explain something to you, Quanell. These people in the Middle East, like ISIS, they want to kill you, they want to kill me, they want to kill your kids, they want to kill everybody. So instead of making this a racist argument, let's talk about Americans. We're all Americans, right?
And Matt,
so let's protect
the hundreds, potentially thousands that were murdered in Tulsa, Oklahoma, were Americans being murdered and slaughtered by terrorists who were Americans also. So don't tell me that when white people are slaughtered in New York, and yes, they were, and black people died too.
What are you talking about?
All races died in New York.
There were Catholics, there were Muslims, there were Asians, whites and blacks.
Yes,
all
a
kinds
crime
of people
against
killed.
humanity. But remember, the first time it happened was when you did it to black people in Oklahoma using airplanes. Chickens come home to roost whether you like it or not.
Wow, man. You know what? The reason why this country is in such dire shape is because people like you have lost focus on what made this country great.
America, they didn't make this country great. Everybody in this country made America great, but pay all of its citizens the correct homage and treat all of us equal. The first terrorists were not them from Arabs. It was right here in America.
So you all heard the Caucasian. Now, he was very upset and very hostile and aggressive. Pay attention. Now, he got that bothered and upset and obnoxious, clearly, just because Quanell mentioned what they had done to black people. Now, I find it also interesting that they always want us to evoke sympathy and empathy and shed all these tears and never forget when things happen to them. But like I said, they don't have the same energy for us. Another thing is this. All of the heinous things that they talk about that have been happening to them, that have happened to Americans in general, well, the people that committed these acts learned it from America. So miss me with it. That's what they can do, okay? Hitler said himself that he learned his tactics from the way America treated the Negroes. And that's just a fact. That is just a fact. And then they want to talk about people being inhumane to their people in their countries, but these are the same thugs who bombed, okay, their own people. On several occasions, not just one, committed whole genocide. But let's not talk about that, Quanell, because what does that have to do with 9/11? I'll tell you what it has to do with 9/11. 9/11 was genocide, or no, it wasn't genocide. It was an act of terrorism, but so was Wall Street, okay? But it was also genocide. So sit down somewhere. Like, they really get all mad because you simply tell the truth. You can't sit here and tell us to remember one thing and all that happened to you because it happened to your people, because your people were affected by it. But then on the other hand, tell us just don't talk about this and forget this because your people are the ones who did it. And he's right. Chickens do come home to roost. I mean, pay attention to the crack epidemic that they started, that they put the drugs in our neighborhoods, and now the opioid crisis. All right? So yes, chickens do come home to roost. So anyway, they can miss us with all of that foolishness. So in other news, 56 were shot, okay? 8 fatally in weekend shootings across Chicago. It just gets worse and worse. But they're talking about a whole purge bill. Pay attention. And so it was a violent weekend in Chicago with at least 56 people shot since 5 p.m. on Friday night. And then 8 of those people were killed, with 6 of them dying just on Sunday. Now, at least 4 of the victims are under the age of 18. Now, how sad is that? At the first shooting of the weekend, a 16-year-old boy was struck in the leg by gunfire Friday night in the 3000 block of West Wellington in Lakeview. The victim was transported to Illinois Masonic Hospital initially and was reported to be in good condition. Then they had a 10-year-old boy who was shot while walking on the sidewalk with his father in the 1000 block of East 93rd Street in Burnside on Friday. The 2 were walking along while with another male and another child at 8:37 p.m. when an occupant in a red sedan fired shots, just doing drive-bys. Now, the boy was shot in the left leg and taken by his father to Comer Children's Hospital and is listed in good condition. Thank God for that. Police found a man critically wounded in the 1900 block of East 81st Street in South Chicago around 10:16 p.m. Friday. Officers responded to a shots fired call and discovered a man 23 years old in a silver truck unresponsive. The victim was discovered with a gunshot wound to the right bicep and flank and was transported by fire or Chicago Fire Department to the University of Chicago Hospital in critical condition. Then a 34-year-old man was shot while standing outside the 1100 block of West Hubbard Street in West Loop around 10:35 p.m. Friday. Police said the victim was on the sidewalk when an occupant in a white Durango fired shots. The victim was transported by the CFD to Stroger in good condition with a gunshot wound to the left leg. And then 5 men were injured and 2 killed during 2 separate shootings Sunday that happened just minutes apart. Honey, also nefarious. This is also nefarious at the end of the day. And they're calling this a mass shooting. I want y'all to pay attention. They're calling this a mass shooting. The question is, how is it a mass shooting when it's done by multiple people in different instances? Mass shootings is when one individual shoots 4 or more people, all right, in a given incident. But so anyway, also nefarious. And this stuff just continues to fester. So anyway, moving right along. So I want y'all to pay attention to all this AI technology because, you know, when you have people that are racist making AI technology, one can only imagine the things that they can program this stuff to do. Okay. Like I told y'all before, those K9 robot dogs for the police. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, this is just my opinion, that they'll be attacking Black people disproportionately, just like the regular K9s do. Right. And I want y'all to also pay attention because I told you all last week that TikToker said that her family was absolutely raising hunting dogs to hunt Black people, training them to do that. And I believe the police do the same thing. I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion. That's what I think, because I only see those dogs attack and try to eat alive Black folk. All right. That's what I only see. How about y'all? Y'all see any white folk getting attacked by these dogs and being eaten until they're bitten on, until they're dead, like the Black man who was in his own mother's house? So in today's edition of GFR tackles horrifying advancements and news in the artificial intelligence community, they want to examine the newest fear, and that's the inability to control super intelligent AI. Now, they say this week has already brought you the food delivery robot who didn't care about crossing a taped off police scene to do its job. Unfortunately, we just do the reporting, and we're here to tell you that it comes to technology, or when it comes to technology, things could get out of control real quick. We should all know that. So while the idea of super intelligent AI programming taking over the world isn't a new concept, with a few of the films and television shows, including the Matrix franchise and the Terminator franchise, Battlestar Galactica, and all of that, they say researchers aren't saying that this idea is totally impossible. Now, according to a study done by the Journal of Artificial Intelligence Research, the possibility isn't quite as far-fetched as some people might think, because they found, the researchers that is, they've discovered that if the super intelligent AI is exactly that, a level of intelligence that goes beyond our own as humans, there's no reining it in. You see, these things can get out of control and go rogue and do whatever they want. Pay attention. And if you know anything about the Philadelphia Project, if you read that book, they absolutely talked about these things occurring in the future, okay, saying that computers would absolutely be in charge. Now, to break it down further, if we can't wrap our heads around what the robots would be thinking, we would simply be unable to program them to not cause harm to humans. Okay, in short, if we reach a level of AI beyond our own, we're in for a world of chaos and alarm. And this is all true. So why would they do it? Well, because the devils are always up to no good. That's why. So glad you asked. So many scientists are saying that if we can't give our very best to robots, which we're pouring so much information into and time into as well, why do it at all? And on the other hand, when do we stop knowing that what we're really doing is creating a super intelligent AI that could literally wipe out the world as we know it? At this point in time, it seems there's no right or wrong answer. Now, from NASA engineering an army of robot doctors to assist astronauts while in space, to the aforementioned food delivery robot, the scientific community has made great strides in creating helpful machinery through AI. But as we know, through instances like the story of the Chicago man who was possibly wrongfully accused of shooting another person due to an alleged flaw in the law enforcement's AI system. Sometimes the mark is missed altogether. Let me tell y'all something. That man who was falsely accused, honey, y'all don't think that was on purpose? Because I do. Y'all don't think that these things are purposely programmed to not, accurately pick a black person, a melanated, dark-skinned person? I absolutely do. Okay, that's just what it is. They do this on purpose. The people creating this stuff, many of them are racist, and they're putting their racist ideology and processes into these AI technologies. So you'll have a lot of black people that likely will be wrongfully convicted and sent to prison, even death row. Pay attention. Okay, and then later it'll come out, oh, it was a mistake. And that's made obvious by the research done in the aforementioned article. The world ending due to super intelligent AI is a problem that we could be inching closer and closer to with every new machine created. But also, a super intelligent AI ending life as we know it isn't the worst way the world could end. And as long as Hollywood keeps churning out films based on it, like the upcoming Simu Liu and Jennifer Lopez's next Netflix feature, Atlas, well, we'll better understand how to take on the machines when they rise up against us. Okay? Pay attention, because they absolutely will. Y'all thought iRobot was just a movie? It was a precursor as far as I'm concerned. These devils are doing the most. They are trying to play God. Sandman said racist robots interesting. It's not interesting to me. It's nefarious. And at the end of the day, we all know who makes these things, right? Queen Sam said iRobot with Will Smith. Absolutely. Okay? I mean, this is also nefarious, but this is the world we live in. Devils want to play God. They have now started talking about removing consciousness from a human and putting it in a robot. Therefore, they feel they can live forever. That's what they say. All right? That's what they say. They think they can live forever, honey, but the Most High is going to have the last word. And all this crazy stuff they're doing is clearly going to backfire on them in the long run. Just watch. Okay? Pay attention. So anyway, let me show you all this video about these crazy vegans, because they absolutely are doing the most. Crazy vegans mourn meat at a grocery store, leaving roses for packaged beef. Now, I absolutely cannot. Vegan protesters are known for having a flair for the dramatic. Throwing red paint on your enemies might not convince people to get on your side, but it will certainly catch your attention. Many vegan activists have been criticized for their one-dimensional and erratic views on other people's diets. Now, how vegans protest seems specially designed to make others angry. They see no gray area for what some might not be able to have, or for someone who might not be able to have a plant-based diet. And this is true. Everyone can't have a plant-based diet. So forcing your opinions on other people is just not the way to do it. I mean, I do promote a healthy plant-based diet, but at the end of the day, honey, you can't make people do things they don't want to do. Now, they say many vegans are foolish enough to think that veganism is a bigger issue than human rights issues plaguing human beings. They also think veganism can solve any health problem one might have, which is simply not the case. Many groups get accused of performative activism, but nobody can deny that vegans take the care for that. Let's look at this video, because it's also ridiculous. This just goes to show how some people just love attention and will do anything for it. Your likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, what was their point? What was their point of putting roses? And I'm sure they spent a pretty good penny on those roses, right? To go and lay it on some meat. I mean, who does that? Theatrics, beloveds. That's all it is. Yes, they're doing too much. Here's the thing. If you want to be a vegan, be one. But stop trying to impose your nefarious beliefs on everybody else. I mean, being a vegan isn't nefarious, but imposing your opinions and beliefs on other people is. Okay? I mean, oh, so crazy. Right. Somebody said her big ace is not a vegan. I mean, I'm sorry, but vegans are usually a little slim, right? Didn't look like a vegan to me. Or maybe she's a vegan when there's no meat around. Pay attention. So anyway, I absolutely cannot. And so now let's talk about Pastor. Hold on. Before we talk about this pastor, hold on. I got to talk about this black woman who killed her baby. Listen to this. This black woman killed her baby. She claims it was an accident, but I want you to pay attention. Woman charged after baby dies while co-sleeping. Her second child to die during the practice. Okay, so here's her picture. Let me put her up on the screen because I absolutely think she did this on purpose. That's just my opinion. This woman right here, she actually killed her second child. Okay, it's 2 children dead. Now I want y'all to pay attention because she claims that she was co-sleeping with the baby. When you sleep with a child, an infant in the bed with you, and you're close up to the child, well, so this woman from Cincinnati has been indicted on voluntary manslaughter and endangering children after the newborn child died as a result of co-sleeping. So she likely rolled over onto the baby or something and suffocated it. People have done that in instances. That's why doctors and pediatricians specifically will tell you it's not a good idea to sleep with the child so close up on you. That's why they want you to put the baby in a bassinet or in a baby bed, you know, a crib of some sort. But anyway, the reason she's arrested is because this is the second time she did this. She actually did this a year prior. Okay, her first child died during infancy due to co-sleeping, according to Assistant Prosecutor Amy Clausing. Now, when this occurred, she was told that this was dangerous for infants and that you should not practice this. So for her to do it again and now kill a 6-week-old infant, well, I'm sorry. It just seems to me like she did it on purpose. Either she did it on purpose or she's just extremely stupid. Okay, because if you already killed one child that way, why would you ever do it again? I'm just wondering. Yes, it is awful. It is awful, okay? She did it again. That's why I think she did it on purpose. I think she killed the first one on purpose too. There are some people who murder their children, and that's just a fact. And I just happen to think that she's one. So they do these things and pretend it's an accident, okay? And so anyway, also sad for the poor children. So let's talk about Bishop Whitehead. Here he is at it again. I mean, last time he went viral for getting robbed, and now he went viral for choking out somebody in Sunday service. Let me pull up the receipts. I mean, he choked this woman by her throat like it was all gravy. Pay attention.
Come preach? You want to come preach? Come on up here. Come on up here. Yeah, come on, Lord. Yes, Lord. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Let's pray in the spirit, y'all. Roko shana ma 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 si. Roko bo shata ba ba ba. Rete bebe go shata ba. Ata ba boko shata ma si. Roko shene ma la shata ba ba. Ebe go shata ba 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 ba. Rete be go shana ba. Hey, glory to God. Now remove her out of here. Now move her out of here. Move her out of here. Amen. Come on, let's give Jesus a round of applause, y'all. Hey, yes, Lord. Let's give Jesus a round of applause. Let's give Jesus a round of applause. Let's give Jesus a round of applause. Now let's give Jesus a round of applause. While they take pictures and they want to be on social media, take the pictures. 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 The pictures.
Where you at, girl?
A little mark on her neck.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy?
She got a scratch.
When I went to
but
her,
the EMS looked at it and checked it out. She didn't
I got
need no
a scratch
stitches. It looked
right
like you needed
there.
stitches.
The pictures.
Sasha at?
I just asked you that.
I don't know. Let me go look. Oh, there she is. I'm gonna go ask her if she's okay. But she's standing in the corner with this kid. And he's standing in front of her. Stay right there. Or come out. You okay? Yeah? Oh, miraculously. Look at God. Won't he do it? Huh.
That I was focused on.
So where your phone?
It was
I know. They told me. Where your phone? I'm like,
right here.
you got your phone?
Yeah.
You got everything?
I got everything.
She got everything.
Yeah.
Come on, get in the car. Oh, you waiting for them?
They said they have to interview us.
Okay, so after they interview, get in the car. We're going to take you home.
Okay.
I'm going to wait, okay? Have a good one. I'm not in none of this. Huh? You assaulted a woman. What happened? Official statement? Well, I can talk back to him. Okay. All right. Long as
But these people were sent into my church to disrupt my church, and this lady went towards my wife to attack her and my daughter, and that's when I grabbed her, okay, and did what I had to do, what any man and any pastor would do, okay. We're just off of the experience of 3 men coming into my church, robbing us, and putting a gun in my wife's face and in my 8-month-old daughter's face. She was 8 months at the time. And that's not going to happen again. So for everybody that that feels whatever they want to feel, y'all can feel whatever y'all want to feel. No, I didn't choke her. No, it was nothing like that. I grabbed her and escorted her out the way she needed to be escorted out. And I asked her, I said, you're going to be removed. You gotta leave. But these people were sent, and she walked back. This is something y'all can't see, but we have video in the church. We have video in the church. Okay, we have video in the church. And we also know who was behind it. And she walked back.
He needs to sit down somewhere with his lies, honey. Now, he sat there and said that he didn't choke the woman. I grabbed her and escorted her out. Well, you grabbed her by her neck, which means you choked her. And did you all see the welts on her neck? He grabbed her very hard. Okay, some people were saying he grabbed her by the hair. No, he grabbed her by her throat, honey. All right? He grabbed her by her throat. Okay, and I don't know what else he did, but he's clearly nefarious. Okay, and then pay attention. He tried to act as though the woman was about to attack his daughter at first. Okay, there's a longer video where when he gets back to the pulpit and he says, you're not going to attack my daughter. You're not going to attack my wife. Amen, amen, and all that foolishness. So let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, that was nobody doing that but his demon, honey. That same demon that was up there pretending to be speaking in tongues. Okay? That was demon babble. And that demon babble was done right prior to him choking that woman, okay? He could sit down somewhere. Why are people still in the congregation at this point? And some people were sitting there agreeing with him when he was saying, she ain't going to attack my wife. She ain't going to attack my child, amen. And they were like, amen. Some people are so stupid and so full of cognitive dissonance. How do you still sit in a congregation from somebody like that? Why is anybody still even at his church after I just reported a month or so ago when he stole that church member's $90,000 and used it to put down on his mansion and then told her anything you gave me was a gift, a donation? Knowing good and darn well that's not why that lady gave him her life savings. Why is anybody still there? I'm so glad you asked. The same reason that some foolish people in our own communities continue to follow fraudsters, cons, and scammers and liars. Okay? That's why. Some people are just stupid. Some people are naive. Thy children perish from lack of knowledge. And some of our people just don't have any. They suffer from cognitive dissonance when you try to give them the knowledge and information and wisdom, and you try to show them the receipts and facts and invoices. They don't want to accept it as truth because to them, the lies are a whole lot easier to consume. Okay? 6'3" Soldier said, like Wiggy. Exactly. Okay, Eileen said, hashtag by wig. Yes. It's just all so sad. And you know, like I said, this man is nothing but a liar and a con. I didn't sit there saying he didn't strangle her. But here's the thing I want you to pay attention to. He said he did what he had to do, what any pastor, any man would have done, right? Well, I'll tell you what I find more interesting is the fact that he had all that smoke for that woman who, in my opinion, absolutely was not trying to attack his wife or child. And I would like to see the footage if she did, because he said we have video at the church. Well, show that video, release the footage so that we can see the truth, because I don't believe the truth is even in him. But what I find even more interesting is the fact that he didn't have any of that smoke for those thugs that came in and robbed his church, right? Who robbed him and his wife. Why weren't you protecting your wife then? I'm sorry, he was too busy hiding under a table. Talking about, yo, getting down on the floor. Y'all remember that, right? But you're going to choke this woman who's unarmed. I find that also interesting. Okay? Yes, he's a liar. Absolutely. He looks like a whole demon, says Denise. Yes, he is a demon. Most of them churches are not teaching real anyway. Absolutely. Okay? That's right. The real China doll says shame on his wife too. Yes, for going along with his lies and nefariousness. Okay? Also crazy, honey. But that's just what it is. 70 said he's a whole beta male. Okay. Cosmic Moon 1 says show the receipts, pimp. Right. That's all he is a pulpit pimp, honey. Telling lies and full of BS. Now, so anyway, I'm gonna tell you like this. There's gonna always be some people just foolish enough, like I said before, to stay in his congregation, and that's just what it is. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Tory Lanez's little pint-sized self got into it with August Alsina, and I know Jada's probably sitting home crying, because I sure was. Not really, but let me tell y'all something. Let me pull this up, because I really don't appreciate Tory Lanez sucker punching August. Now, he knows August is sickly, right? So let's talk about it. I'm going to share my screen. Everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share. I'm going to read all these receipts, because at one point they said, Pulpit Pimpin' Volume 2, says Wavy, though. Okay? Stacey said, I stopped going to church years ago. I did too, because it's all full of crap. Most of it. Okay? Most of these pastors are pulpit pimps, and that's just what it is. Okay, so now I'm going to read you all what this says, because first they were saying that it was confirmed that Tory did not lay hands upon August. But then other information came out. So they say neighbors, there has been a lot of speculation that Tory Lanez put pause on August Alsina last night after a concert in Chicago. According to At Rolling Out, a source exclusively let them know that it's not true. Now, the concert, which included August, Tory, Mario, and Jaquez, started off as a good night until Tory and August had a run-in backstage. August reportedly didn't shake Tory's hand as they passed each other in the hallway. Tory got upset because he took the rejection as disrespect. Now, after this interaction, it was reported on social media that Tory beat up August outside. Okay.
You were wrong.
I was.
If you come...
Hold on, that's not where I meant to go. Okay, so now August may have been Diamond's favorite, however. I'm not sure if he's Tory Lanez's favorite after a backstage incident where August rejected a handshake from the singer as they crossed paths in the hallway. Tory was visibly upset, and he and his security guards chased down August to address whatever happened. The news of this rejection took to social media as a rumor that August was beaten up by Tory Lanez. We can confirm that this is not true. Okay, now, here's what August had to say. August says, as I'm exiting the building after the show last night, a 4'11" sized leprechaun ran up on me with 8 oversized security ninjas, whom I greeted each individually upon their walk up as they tried to press me. Whole time I'm one deep, no security. Tory continues to ask with a broken ego why I didn't dap him up. I go on to tell him I was a fan of him and didn't understand him speaking on my business publicly in the past because I don't know him or ever met him until last night. So when he spoke, it caught me off guard because in his past actions, I assumed he didn't like me. That's all. Not to mention with my history of health and condition, just recently overcoming being paralyzed, my doctor directed me not to compromise my health while out on the road and shake as less hands as possible due to stupid 19 and monkeypox. Never any disrespectful words were exchanged, so I was a bit confused at how somehow he turned himself up with anger after hitting a blunt laced with cocaine. Obviously, I heard the fizzle, and he snuck me when I turned my head to move to the side amongst all his antsy moving, and to keep an eye on the endless ninjas that was with him surrounding me, which was security and some ninja with a gun tucked, whom he then proceeded to run behind and hide to run back into the building. There was never a fight, simply an assault. Dude has no real friends and is on a crash out mission. With that said, I was gonna keep it G and not come to the net, but you moving with foul intent, feeding falsities to blogs to look for a moment, because them moments ain't happening on stage for you. I will assist you in that gracefully. His people got the whole thing on camera. Put the footage out. I'd like to see it. Anyway, let me go clean this blood off my face. That's what August said. So I thought I had some, hold on. So anyway, with that all being said, let me, oh, thank you, beloved. Now let me go to the footage of August's wounds, because it was also nefarious. Hold on. Let me pull that up on the screen. The likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, here we go. Hold on, beloveds. I'm still looking. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Oh, this looks really gross. Let's get those likes up, beloveds. James said, you look beautiful today, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Thank you for your kind words, everyone in the chat, talking about the Queen's looks. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Now, this is also egregious. Y'all see that? Looks like a hole in the man's lip. Look at that. This is all so crazy. So with that all being said, it would be safe to assume that Tory Lanez is just, has a problem controlling his anger. Clinton said Lil Tory wasn't playing with him. Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Here's my thoughts on it. How do you get mad because a grown man didn't dap you up? If somebody didn't dap you up, maybe they didn't like you. Maybe they didn't want to. How do you get that angry that you put hands on somebody? I'm just saying. Make it all make sense. Tory would either need weapons or a gang of men. He wouldn't be winning fights on his own. Let me tell you something. Tory's not going to win no fight on his own. That's all true. He couldn't even do nothing with Megan. He had to shoot her. Pay attention, okay? He's the same fool who shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. All right? I mean, it's clear to assess that he's a whole coward, right? Just a little punk. And the thing is, I believe that he has a Napoleon complex because he's only 5'3". Now, he loves to go around lying, trying to tell people he's 5'7", but sit down somewhere, Tory Lanez, because the Queen is 5'7.5", and I know good and darn well I'm looking down at him, okay? I've seen him in person, all right? Not at a concert because I wouldn't pay for it, but at the end of the day, I've seen him. He's clearly 5'3". All right? He needs to sit down somewhere. Okay? Gregory said 4'11" punk, okay? Anyway. This is also unfair. I mean, is Tory Lanez upset because he's going bald? Is that why he's so mad? Like, what is all this anger and hostility? Right? He should be happy living life. You have a music career, you have money and all that. I mean, he is a little ugly, but I'm just saying it's not anyone's fault other than your parents that you look like a whole leprechaun. Make it all make sense, Tory Lanez. V. Mosby said, I bet he drives a Hummer or a vehicle taller than him. Kenyatta said Queen was nice and gave him a couple of extra inches. Okay, I probably did, honey. He's probably really 4'11" in real life. Okay, he probably is. So anyway, and then he only weighs about 120 soaking wet with 2 bricks in his pockets. Pay attention. So no, it would be safe to assume that he's not winning any fights, honey, unless he has help or a gun. That's just what it is. And then you're going to sneak somebody who just got off of being paralyzed. Okay? August had to learn how to walk again. The man is sickly. We all know that. Had to recover from being blind not too long ago, and you're going to attack this man because he didn't dap you up? Did it ever occur to this fool, Tory Lanez, that some people don't want to shake hands and dap people up because we have a whole monkeypox thing going on, not to mention stupid 19? Anyway, oh, so crazy. Somebody said he's a troll, honey. He looks like one from under the bridge, no less. Miss Evie said he's a whole hobbit, okay? Anyway, I absolutely cannot with Tory Lanez. Eileen said, I don't dap fools, okay? Like my song, right? The Melanin Within. What'd I say? Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, beloveds, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. All Jada can comfort her boo thing. Somebody needs to stop the Tory hate narrative. If the stallion didn't push this, y'all be on his. Hold on. I was born in his image says, stop the Tory hate narrative. If the stallion didn't push this, y'all be on his D. Stop all the capping. Honey, let me tell you something. First of all, who's capping? Just because you like Tory Lanez, clearly, that's evident. Let me just put you in timeout. There you go. Take that to the bank and cash it. First of all, nobody is hating on Tory. We're telling the truth about Tory. And now if you foolish enough to sit there and think that Megan lied on him when she had real bullet fragments in her feet, then that's on your own stupidity. Don't try to tell us what to think and how to react. And who's capping? This is all true. Okay, this is what's been published. This is straight from the horse's mouth. It's a lie. August Alsina told it. And so did the witnesses. Be all on his D for what? Tory is not all that, honey. He's not all that when it comes to rap. He's okay, but he's just not all that. All right? Nobody has to hate on him. And here's the thing that gets me. I want y'all to pay attention to how anytime you speak truth about someone that's negative, it's always some fool talking about that's hate. Honey, it's not a hate just because somebody disagrees with you, just because somebody tells the truth about your nefarious ways. That's not hate. That's called truth. And it's so interesting that in 2022, many of our own Black people want to call the truth hate. Honey, it's not hate. Hate is when somebody wants to hinder you from doing or being something because they're envious of what you have or what you can accomplish at the end of the day. When they just don't like you for no good reason and you've done nothing to them. That's hate. Get it right. Okay? Truth is a whole nother subject. And so anyway, with that all been said, now I want y'all to pay attention to something too. Speaking of hate, somebody said, and I'm not going to call any names, but at the end of the day, I believe I heard somebody say that people talking about them being a drug dealer and all that stuff in the past is an ops. Well, I'm going to tell you what's also an ops. People posting people's mug shots on the internet, on Twitter. How are you going to call somebody an ops for talking about your drug dealing past, but you can post somebody else's, a Black man at that, post that man's mug shot? Make it all make sense if you can. I'm just curious. Okay? Now y'all know I got to call people out with their hypocrisy. You want to sit up here and try to act like somebody's an agent, somebody's an ops because they say something about the stuff you did in the past? Well, sometimes the things you do in the past are brought into the future. So that's why people sometimes bring it up. Now, I didn't bring it up, but clearly somebody has. But at the end of the day, honey, you posting people's mugshots, so please sit down somewhere because that's clearly agent behavior. That crazy bitch Eric said, make it all make sense. Yes. Sandy said, say what now? Oh, yeah, you know what I said. Y'all know who I'm talking about, honey. You can miss me with it. Okay. You posting people's mugshots, but nobody's supposed to think that's agent behavior. The only person who's always hollering about agents when people say things about them are agents. Pay attention. Okay? I don't care what anybody says, and I don't care who's mad. Okay? Yes, the Napoleon complex. Absolutely. The Prince of Paraphernalia said, Tory needs some milk. Vince I am said, I think I have an idea who it is. Vince, you know exactly who it is, beloved. You sure do. All right? You sure do. And I'm going to tell y'all something else interesting before I go. Y'all know how I talk about people stealing the queen's talking points, right? I want y'all to pay attention that sometimes people that have YouTube channels, and again, I'm not going to say names. Sometimes people who have YouTube channels make troll accounts themselves to go and troll the people who talk trash about them. Y'all already know that. So I saw this person that trolled me one day, and they called themselves Aboriginal runaway slave. Now I want y'all to pay attention to how I make it all make sense. They call themselves in the comment, and I showed y'all this comment on my channel. I showed it on the a screenshot of it. But the person called themselves Aboriginal runaway slave. Now the person said to me in the comment that I should not be exposing wig because there's a very important documentary coming out that she's in. Well, I don't care nothing about that. I'm gonna expose the truth. All right. So, but I knew who left that comment. You know how I knew who left that comment? Because they call themselves an Aboriginal runaway slave. And I know exactly who on YouTube talks like that and uses that kind of verbiage. But pay attention, because that same person also made another troll account and went on Pan-Africanism Strikes Back's channel and left a comment saying, LOL, come on, bro, just admit you're jealous. You jealous, bro. And the person called themselves, pay attention, the name of the page was something about descendants of slaves are an endangered species. Again, they mentioned the word slaves. And again, and then they said are an endangered species. You know how I know who that person was? Because it's the same person who steals the queen's talking points. And I'm not talking about wig. I'm talking about the other person. They steal my talking points. They call themselves, they said the slaves are, or the descendants of slaves are an endangered species. Now, I knew exactly who it was because that was my talking point earlier that day. That same day, I said on a live that we are an endangered species. So you mean to tell me that you not only copy my talking points to do a live, but you copy when you troll people? Now, that's just sad. That's exactly how I knew who the person was. They said something about slaves again, because they always use slave as the fake page that they use. They'll probably stop now that I put them on blast, but they clearly said we're an endangered species. And I had just said that hours prior. So pay attention, honey. They make troll accounts to troll people who are talking shite about them. I mean, I don't blame you. Do what you gotta do in your desperation. But at the end of the day, it's also hilarious to me. Kenyatta said, very sad. Yes, it is. This I am said nothing passes the real queen of receipts. Okay. Inspired by Nature said who? Honey, just go on that channel and pay attention to who they're talking about, and then you'll see. Okay. Anyway, with that all being said, Wopen said, wow. No, it's not Boyce Watkins, honey. Queen Twitter suspended me. Hold on. Queen Twitter suspended me because I called Stacey Adams a mammy and said the only way she can win is if she cheated. I absolutely cannot. Queen on a roll like butter, sending much love, peace, and light. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so y'all keep saying Moist Watkins. No, it's absolutely not Moist Watkins, honey. It's not Moist Watkins. All right? I'm not going to tell y'all who it is. If y'all don't know, honey, I'm not going to tell you. G from the land said wig reloaded. But anyway, they always talking about slaves and Aboriginal stuff. Pay attention. With that all being said, nope, not Umar. Keep guessing. Keep guessing. But with that, Kenyatta said he can stay seated for real, okay? Yes, he definitely can. Donna said Marcus. Well, anyway, I have to go. Miss Eva said, give us a hint, Queen. Donna just gave y'all a hint. She just said their real name, Marcus. Pay attention. With that all being said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. All right, be sure to click that notification bell, click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, I hope to see you all in the chat at 6:15 for your daily vitamins. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. Always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, beloveds, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.